Welcome to Be Now. My name is Don McLeod.
And I am Fazal Khan. Welcome. It is Tuesday, November the 23rd. How you doing, Don?
I think you're about 30 seconds late there, Faz.
No, I'm not late. It's a delay in the internet.
Okay, today we're going to talk about a bunch of stuff. We're going to talk about the budget, 2022 budget coming up. We're going to talk about a couple of things in regards to banning fireworks and public wall, the wall on Williams Parkway. And Faz, you got a couple of things to lead off on, the Christmas markets.
Yeah, so as you know, Brampton Now is all about sharing events that's happening in the city, but we're not going to go live really with that until beginning of the new year. But obviously it's Christmas time, so there's lots of Christmas activities going. So the one that was shared with us that I just wanted to get on the screen today was the winter market at Fallendale Public School. You probably can't see that. It is on Friday, December 3rd at 510 Clark Boulevard in Brampton. So I just wanted to kind of share that. And obviously, there's lots more. So take advantage of the opportunity to support local businesses, community groups, all these activities. You know, we didn't have them for the last couple of years. So get out there.
Yeah, it's important, especially the small vendors and stuff like that, especially during Christmas time. I know small independent artists and artisans, they put a lot of time and effort into it. A lot of times, you know, Christmas is important because that's when they can make the most money and support them during the rest of the year. So the summer markets and the winter markets are really important. And a lot of these markets, they set up for a good cause to help a lot of organizations. Also, there was the tree lighting this week on the 19th. They lit the tree in downtown Brampton. And Gage Park, they have the lights up.
Yeah, I don't have that video today. Sorry, everybody. I am. It was my turn to make dinner, so I'm rushing here today. So I don't have the video up. I probably can get the video. You just won't have audio. So what's the point?
Well, they can go to Be Now, and I believe it's up on the Be Now website.
Yeah, Ivan Macri shot a video while he was out there last. What was that, Friday? And
it was the 19th. So was it Thursday or Friday? Anyway, I don't have my.
Yeah, it looked really good. So go to the Be Now Facebook page. You'll see Ivan's video there. Thanks, Ivan. I didn't have an opportunity to show it, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Don, there is a last-minute Christmas parade happening in Peel Village this week, right? And I think MPP Prabmeet Sarkaria is a big part of that. If anybody knows when that is, it'd be great if you can share it. Maybe look it up. I think it's Sunday, and it's a drive-by. So I don't have all the details, but I know I saw that. And, you know, I'd say a little disappointing we don't have the Santa Claus parade this year. I'm not sure why the organizing committee didn't have like a backup plan. Obviously, it is a pandemic, but there was a lot of outrage, you know, people saying, well, you can go to Georgetown and, you know, places on the outskirts of the GTA. Toronto didn't have it. We didn't have it. I guess it's hard for a big city, but there should have been a backup plan. What do you think, Don?
Well, you know what is you have to plan about a year ahead, right? So when they finish one Santa Claus parade, they have to plan it, you know, going forward and the floats and everything else and where they're going to do it. I think the city said they couldn't do it in the downtown core. They were looking for an alternative and they just didn't have time.
Yeah, but it's not a city-run thing, so.
No, it isn't, but they have to use city facilities and close the streets and everything else, right? So the city has to be involved in the planning as well, So,
but there is one in Peel Village, and I think that was planned like within the last couple of weeks. So, you know, that's the kind of thing I would like to see, especially the Santa Claus parade. You're a big organization. You should have a backup plan, in my opinion.
Well, sometimes your opinion doesn't matter.
Yeah. And I know there are people on both sides, like Karen. We don't want to rush the parade.
Rush the parade.
Complaints.
Yeah, we can have it. Anyway, let's... anyone, if you have something coming up in regards to Christmas or vendors and stuff like that, send us an email or send me an email, don@citystudio.ca. We'll try and get some sort of, if you have a poster or something or a website we can go to, we'll give you a shout out over the next couple of weeks.
And, you know, we'll actually share it on our broadcast at the beginning of the broadcast next week, because next week it's not you and me. It's the mayor with...
And Michael Charbon next Tuesday, and that's at 8 o'clock.
Yeah. So yeah, send don@citystudio.ca your information, or just post it on the Brampton Now Facebook page. But let us know.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so let's kick in high gear here. They're talking about the budget. Budget 2022 is coming down. They have it listed on the city website. Sorry, budget 2021, which is 2022 upcoming.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Sorry, my bad.
It comes into 2022, 23, and 24. They do 3 years ahead of time, right? So the budget is at the city's website. You can go ahead and read it. I think the question for tonight is, you didn't get the question up, did you, Faz? Okay.
So the poll last week was, what do you think of EVs? And the majority of people said they're too expensive. I'm not buying it right now. Although, I think about half of the people said they're either have one or they want to get ones. But I think 37% of the people said it's way too expensive right now. So that was the poll last week. This week, the poll will be, have you read the budget documents?
Right.
And I'll tell you what the answer.
So you're going to put that up, and what we can do is next week when we interview the mayor, we'll ask him. We'll ask him what he thinks. How many people actually in Brampton read the city budget?
Well, what percentage based on our small population?
Exactly.
Size, yeah.
So let's get right into it. So the way that looks right now, you're looking at a 2.8% tax increase across the board, 1.3% for the city of Brampton, 1.5% for the region. Goes out to 2.8, and it's they figure it's about $142 per household, right? Basically, the report is for the operating budget, $794 million, and this is funded by property tax and users fees, which is 94% of that $794 million. And salaries, wages, and benefits take up close to 60% of that $794 million. $461 million goes for salaries, benefits, and wages for city staff. And it's up 3.8% from the year before, right? Capital budget, $328 million, and it's funded by development charges, grants, and debt-supported tax from all sorts of different projects. So that's $328 million. So in all, you're looking at about $1 billion worth, right?
But that's the plan. The council
plan.
hasn't passed that yet, right?
Now the thing is, this report is all based on. If you look at if you go to the budget, it's based on. They say it's based on the Hempson report. Now the Hempson report was a report put out in 2015, and it talked about the activity rate of Brampton and making sure that you maintain employment lands in Brampton and don't convert the employment lands into residential area. Now, why is that important? Well, the reason it's important is if you take a look at the numbers that I just laid out, $794 million is an operating budget, and most of that goes towards salaries, benefits, and wages. So if you don't have enough capital budget to offset that, the thing is, over time, the residents are going to be paying more and more of that capital fund or the operating budget.
You mean if you don't have businesses offsetting that?
Exactly, right? Yeah. That's why you need the employment lands to be maintained, and your activity rate needs to be increased. So our activity rate is basically somewhere around the 33%, where a world class or something like Mississauga or Toronto has a 50% activity rate. And what that means in activity rate is how many people actually go outside the city for employment, right? So we have more people leaving the city of Brampton for employment than actually are in the city getting employed, right? So that's why employment lands is very important, because it offsets the tax burden onto the property owners.
So, and I think we need more than just warehouses too, right? I see a lot of announcements on warehouses, which takes up a lot of land. And I'm not like an Amazon warehouse, right? They hire a lot of people, but they don't pay them really, really high wages.
Yeah, we're looking for a little bit higher wages than, like no benefit, part-time, and low wages, just minimum wage. Those are not going to sustain over a long period of time. I know that's why the mayor was talking about the Cyber Academy and so on and so forth. But the Hempson report is important. If you want to, you can go to the city of Brampton, and you probably find it on our report. It's like a Hempson report. This one was from 2015 that I still have. And it's still, all the budget is based on that Hempson report, okay? So we're going to get into a few particulars. Somebody asked last week about Riverwalk. Well, apparently they're spending $100 million over 3 years for Riverwalk project, 9.3 in 2022, and that's a flood mitigation and unlocking of economic potential. So that's a big number. Talking about...
We have a comment here, Don. Maybe you have an answer for
Okay.
this. Could the city not consider a mixed-use idea for the lands like Shoppers World? And I think they are, right?
Well, I think they are. Plus, another one is I know someone was commenting a couple of weeks ago about Emerald Hills or Emerald Heights. I'm not sure what the development is called, but that's where the old Canadian Tire building is. And they were talking about putting up buildings, apartment buildings, and either condos or apartment buildings up on that land that could accommodate up to, I think it was it 12,000 people or so? And they're right next to the GO station. People are complaining that, you know, Patrick Brown went ahead and got an MZO to get the fast
MZO
track
is a
for development.
ministerial zoning order, which you,
Right,
you basically
exactly.
expedite the process. Of
Right,
allowing
but rather than going through public consultation. To me, if you're going to have high density, that would be a great place to have it next to the GO station. We don't
Yeah.
want to build out more
high density,
residential.
mixed use, so it'd be places to live, you
Yeah.
know, office towers, retail. Like I think what we're seeing a lot in Brampton is just condos.
Urban sprawl.
Yeah,
which is not what we want. We want to build. Does selling drugs count as employment? Yes, Mike, if you declare it, right?
Well, you know, we have a lot. I think per capita, we might have the most cannabis shops in Ontario, if not Canada. Because
but don't forget, the thing is with the cannabis shops, the city gets a percentage of the sale or like the revenue, right? When you opted in, when Brampton opted in to have cannabis shops, part of that agreement was that there was money coming back from the province on a percentage basis. I would love to see what that number is. Maybe we can ask Patrick Brown next. Get Michael to ask Patrick next week what the percentage of cannabis sales they get back from the Ontario government.
Yeah, that would be good to know. Inspire Boulevard. I've never heard of it. I'm not sure if I've ever seen it. Do you know where Inspire Boulevard is? Where is that, Mike?
I'm sure Mike. Anyway, let's leave Mike for a minute.
He's got more comments. Yeah, we should
capitalize.
capitalize.
I'm sure he does. Shops. We're talking about $193 million following years for the CAA Center, cricket. We know that was about $35 million. Repairs to Greenbrier Recreation, Community Center, Howden Recreation Center, Memorial Arena. There's a whole bunch of different things here. It's your tax dollars. Go to the city website, check out. There's highlights that you can actually download the list like I did, or you can go through the 350-page document line by line. But it's your money. You got to find out what's in there. I found
you know what happens a lot, Don, is the city city council makes their decision, and then people get in an outrage, right? We see the Guardian write articles, and you know whoever else write articles, waving their arms about what council just did. It's like, this is your opportunity to stand up and have your voice heard, not afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's one though that stands out for me. They're spending $535,000 towards affordable housing initiatives. Now, I'm reading out numbers like 93 million, 1.8 for environmental master plan implementation, 3.5 million for street lighting, LED retrofit, and 535 for affordable housing.
535 of what? 1,000?
Yeah.
For what, a plan?
I have no idea. Affordable housing initiatives. I thought Peel Region basically does that on a regular basis. That's the Peel government takes care of that, right? For the affordable housing.
Yeah.
But what is exactly affordable housing initiatives?
So that's why you need to engage with your councillors and delegate at City Hall, because those are questions that need to be asked. To me, it sounds too little to be anything of significance. Yeah. If you're spending millions on streetlights and $500,000 on affordable housing, it tells you that can't really be for anything substantial. It's for a plan.
Well, that's what I'm thinking, right? And what was Mario Russo's comment? I think he was talking about mixed-use projects are advantageous. Absolutely. I know there's along Queen Street, if you go towards Kennedy Road, there's a couple of apartment buildings that were built. And on the bottom, they have retail stores on the bottom. And then there's affordable housing inside those units as well as condos. So, you know, that's something that a lot of cities do employ. And you've got the businesses on the bottom, and then upstairs you've got all the things. So to me, it's a good idea. They should be doing that on a regular basis, and building up is the way to go rather than building out.
Yeah. I heard this week Hamilton Council passed some kind of motion where they were going to stop kind of building out and start building up.
Yeah, well, that's what we should be doing as well.
Yeah,
right?
like, I hate seeing land. There's nice farmland out west of Brampton near where I live in the the northeast side, and then bulldozers come along one day and then the sales center pops up and it's just a cookie cutter development going up there, right?
Yeah, and like high density along the Queen Street corridor has been talked about for I don't know how many years, 25 years. So that falls into the plan of what they want to do with the BRT, the LRT. There's a whole bunch of things that go into this. So yeah.
Well, in the case of the LRT, Justin's saying there's a lot of development happening because of it. I'm not sure there's a lot of development happening on the Brampton side of it, right?
Yeah, I drive that.
South of Derry, I see a lot of stuff happening. There's a lot of land there. They've reserved land. There's already a lot of office towers along that area. The Peel District School Board.
Yeah.
There's a lot of land south of there, and there seems to be a lot of development going on there. But north of Derry, to Steeles, I don't see anything.
No, I don't see anything coming in that regard. South, you're absolutely right. Right.
Yeah, and BRT, I think that to me that's the potential in Brampton is Queen Street. I'd love to myself like to see an LRT, but I know we're just wishing because there's a lot more priorities in this.
Well, there's in the budget they say 17 million for Zoom service expansion on Chinguacousy Road corridor, 3.3 million in 2022, and then bus like the BRT, and they talk about will improve conductivity within and beyond Brampton, but they don't list anything along Queen Street. But that's what I thought the BRT was going to run along, right? So they have it out in Chinguacousy Road, but they don't have it along that Queen Street corridor as of yet, right? They have 2.9 million for expanding regional transit, including LRT and Steeles corridor, but very little details, right? So there's a lot of different things.
Well, and even 2.9 million, what?
Yeah, I know. 2.9. We're talking 35 million for a cricket. 2.9 is nothing, right? 19 million for 12 new electric buses. You should be happy about that, Faz.
I spent the whole day charging batteries in my car battery, and it's one of those days where everything was dying.
Well, they talk about I think I saw here $7.5 million for new electric charging stations.
So if you don't have an electric car, you probably don't know there's different kinds of electric chargers. There's the level 2, which is the ones you have at home. And then there's the level 3, which are the fast chargers. And there's no reason for government to be investing in level 2 chargers, but that's mostly what they invest in. The same chargers you would have at home. They put it off, in front of a government building, and it's for staff. Because if I'm in a rush, I'm not going to a level 2 charger. I'm going to go and pay at a level 3 charger. I would love to see the government have more level 3 chargers out there. Because if you're driving around and really using an electric car, there are times in the day where you need a charge during the day. You can't do it overnight at your home, and the level 3 chargers there are few of them. They're not really maintained. Luckily, in Peel region, there are 2 level 3 chargers. One is at 7120 Huron, Ontario. I go there all the time, and one is near the Brampton City Centre behind the police station. They're free, so they're level 3 chargers. You can get a full charge probably in about an hour and a half. So sometimes you'll see me there lots of times just sitting, waiting, doing my social media and my email, or walking around that area. But because there's only 2.
Well, here's the thing. They're talking, it wasn't 1.5, it's 7.5 million over 2 years for constructing electric vehicle charging stations. Now, where they're going to be put, I think they're mostly going to be on city property, right? So we'll find out details on that. But as I said, go to the city website. Now, the other thing that is not on that tax increase is the levy for the hospital, right? They haven't included that in the 2.8% tax levy, or in the tax increase.
So, Don, in the past 3 years with this council, with the Mayor Brown at the helm, the city's portion of the tax, property taxes, have been 0%.
Right.
What do you think is going to happen? Because it always seems like the city staff goes and says they're going to raise it 1%, 2%, 3%. It goes to city council, and city council, especially the mayor, says no. We got to figure out how to bring it down to 0. You think that's happening this time?
Well, you got a lot of things here, and there's a lot of money. So unless you're, the feds kick in tons of money in the provincial government, which I don't think is going to happen, you're definitely at some point in time you're going to have to pay a tax increase. You can't sustain. It's like anything else, right? Your bank account is not going to grow unless you put money into it.
Well, but, you can have a 0% tax increase, but have more tax revenues because there's more residential properties.
Right, but that's where the Hempson report talks about employment, because your development charges will offset that. That's why you need businesses to come in, right? If you don't have the businesses, right?
Yeah.
Mike, sell more weed, okay?
Like $400 a month for property taxes.
So I
wish I had that. You don't want to know what I got to pay, and I don't know why I got to pay what I got to pay.
Well, here's the thing. Like I said, 2.8% tax increase does not include the levy for the new hospital. So there's an Appendix 3 onto the budget that talks about, they give 4 different options, right? The first option is the city funds 100% of the $103 million incremental request with a one-time special levy. If they do it for 7 years, that's going to add 2.12% to the 2022 tax levy increase. So that brings it up to 4.8%. Right? 2.8? That's 4. That's almost 5%. If they spread it over 10 years, it's 1.14%, right? They give another option where the city and region would fund 50% of the $125 million. I can't see Mississauga helping us fund, right?
Because they're going to ask the region to fund theirs. And
exactly. So why would Mississauga or Caledon fund our hospital here? So to me, that's ridiculous.
And it's all the same taxpayer anyways, the same
right.
tax bill it's going to be on. It just, where's it coming from?
And then, so they've got a bunch of options. So that number is not even the 2.8 tax increase is the current number now based on December 8th when they finally decide what they're going to do in the budget. But
a couple comments here, Don. We're running out of time again.
Okay.
So Mario says at some point we gotta hike taxes because it's not sustainable. And then at least I think that's what Mario says. And then Justin says, if you add more homes, that'll add more taxpayers, hopefully drawing people into Brampton. No, you got to add more. You do. You add more homes, but a lot of the initial tax revenue goes to funding the development of roads and stuff like that. And,
right. And it's got to be maintained. So basically, you're not getting development charges and businesses which pay a higher rate to offset the property tax. That's why Mississauga has an activity rate of 50%, and they're actually in good fight. Well, they're built out, but they're trying to bring businesses and maintain their Fortune 500 businesses. Brampton doesn't have any Fortune 500 businesses. They have a lot of logistics, part-time, low wages. What we need is higher wages.
Yeah, Mario sums it up there well.
Exactly, right?
So we do have Loblaws. The headquarters of Loblaws is in Brampton.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, you need a lot more than that, and I think that's why they're trying to work with Ryerson for the Cyber Academy. But you need something soon. You don't need it 10 years down the road.
And you can't fix that short term. That's a long-term problem.
Anyway, go to the city website, check out the budget, see what's on there, and then if there's any questions, don't call me. Call the mayor and send a request to your councillor and ask them why they're spending money on this or why they're spending money on that. That's their responsibility.
And now is the time to do it, right?
Right.
And so the mayor will be on next week. You can ask then. I'm not sure what the timeline is for the budget debate and
it's up to December 8th, right? The final thing at council is December 8th, so you got time.
Okay, so on December 7th we're going to have a show, so we'll have this full summary for you when we come back.
So December 7th, so that's the anniversary of Pearl Harbor. That could be very fitting.
All right, are we done, Don?
We're done on the budget, but go check it out. So we're going to talk about, I think the big thing going on right now is there was a whole huffafaloo about the fireworks going off over the last week or so. And then apparently city council wants to go and talk about banning fireworks. To me, if there's a problem, all the politicians, all they do is talk about, well, let's ban this. Remember when Uber came in and wanted to come in? It was up to council. Oh, we're going to ban Uber, right? That worked out really well. right? Then it was a situation that
Remember they were going to put up a wall.
yeah,
to
Charmaine
stop the
was going to
cannabis
put up
stores?
a brick wall to ban weed shops from coming into. That worked out really well, right? Banning illegal apartments or basement apartments. Yeah, that worked really well. You know what works well? You get better public policy from our elected officials to deal with the problem rather than banning it, right? So you have to change the behavior by putting better public policy in place, not by just banning stuff, because banning never works.
So Don, if you should, Mario's saying we should delegate to city council on all these things on behalf of every resident.
Well, we're delegating right now, right? And I know that politicians like listen to us and they know what we're talking about. But you know what? We're two people. It's our voice. And the thing is, if every resident read the budget and said, "Wait a second, this doesn't sound right," and emailed their counselor, you have a direct conduit to your counselor. You go to the city website. You're going to find their email address, and you can send them, and then just keep sending them whatever you're upset about. It's that simple. Right.
So Don, Justin thinks, from what I see here, he thinks you and I would make great co-mayors.
Yeah, well, we already ran that route, right?
You lost. I never ran. I quit before I
backed out.
Embarrassed.
So anyway, banning fireworks, good, bad. I mean, to me, it's public policy. It's a ridiculous argument.
Well, I agree with Mike here. Right? People obviously want to have fireworks. Why not make the best fireworks so that people don't have to do their own fireworks? So, like, celebrate Diwali, have a day dedicated at one of the religious organizations, maybe help them do a really good fireworks show and make it so that people can enjoy it. You and I were talking about the fireworks that used to happen in Toronto in the springtime, Benson and Hedges.
The Benson and Hedges, yeah, that was a fantastic thing. That was sponsored by Benson and Hedges, and unfortunately, because it was associated with a cigarette company, they canceled and nobody else picked it up. But that was fantastic. I mean, that's what you need to do. You don't ban fireworks. You figure out a public policy that how it can work and make money or bring people in to see the venue. That Benson and Hedges down at the waterfront, that was packed on a regular basis.
Yeah, I'm not sure about skipping Canada Day. That should be the biggest fireworks.
No, you don't skip Canada Day. That's something. The next big one is going to be obviously New Year's, right?
That was awesome. I don't know what Sheila's talking about, but it must have been my hair or something.
No, that was the Benson and Hedges, the fireworks.
Oh, right.
You can still have it. I mean, you could do something like that. Get a sponsor and do something like that. Like you said, in regards to Diwali, in regards to.
What do you think about the drone displays instead of fireworks?
And I saw that. That was actually pretty cool. That was on the internet.
I saw one where I guess the company that was doing it had some software bug, and they all kind of went in emergency mode and all landed on top of people.
Well, that would be kind of cool. The other thing we're going to talk about is the wall, the big blue wall, as we call it, right? Along Williams Parkway, there's a stretch about 4 kilometers that in 2018 or 19, I think it was 19, they started to pull up a sound wall along that stretch because they were going to widen Williams Parkway. And the last council, apparently, they agreed to the blue and white concept of this wall, which is actually horrible. It's like a baby blue. It looks terrible. I don't know. Like
Don, I didn't like it when it first went out there.
Yeah, no kidding.
It has grown on me. It's actually because the blue part, I think, is supposed to kind of be like the sky.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good. Yeah. Anyway,
maybe if they painted the bottom part, instead of leaving the concrete color, they painted it green, it would look better.
Anyway, so they put, I think it cost $10 million to put that in, right? And then they ripped out a whole bunch of trees along the side, which got people even more upset. And then they stopped the widening, and now they're asking for public input on what color, or if they should paint it a different color,
green
color options, stain the wall, or actually get public art along this whole wall.
I'm surprised there's not already public art on there with our.
The graffiti could be.
I haven't seen any. Have you seen any graffiti on this? It's even said that bad. Graffiti artists don't even want to.
Well, yeah.
Want to use it as a canvas.
Well, it looks like that, but I mean, it's like if you go along there. I mean, to me, it's you ripped out a bunch of trees that were there as a sound wall, and now you're stopping it. And I don't know why you're asking public input, whether they want public art or they want it to color. To me, it's irrelevant. It's like you already spent $10 million. You're not widening the road like you said you were going to do. And now you're asking for public consultation on are you going to get 100% of the people saying, yes, we should have public art or color green or blue or yellow or orange? It's just going to be like what? Like, I don't know.
But when you add up all the space, it is a lot of land available to do something with, right? It's kind of narrow, but
yeah, I think they want to put bike lanes along that entire stretch.
Yeah, and put some landscaping so that you don't see like a kilometer stretch of concrete wall.
Yeah, but the only problem with that is like when you go past, if you run along that, it's an on-ramp to the 410 north and south. So to have a bike lane right across that, you're cutting off, and then people from the Chrysler plant take that Williams Parkway right across, and then you have a school right there as well, right? So it's a busy street, and all the way along there, you have two schools along that whole stretch, plus the Chrysler plant. When they get out at 3, everybody takes that.
Yeah,
I've seen bikes on that stretch in the sidewalk.
Yeah, that street, like there's no bike lanes in my area, and I live near Steeles Avenue, and it's terrible. Like I would never ride a bike on Steeles Avenue anywhere.
No, but I mean, they have some North Park Drive where I live. So they run all the way to North Park Drive. Then they come down. You can take them all the way up to Vauden and all the way downtown if you really want to. But 9 times out of 10, I don't see a lot of people because they're not protected bike lanes. I mean, whenever I go over to Europe and stuff like that, the bike lanes in Europe are protected. You've got concrete barriers between the cars and you, because I've driven along North Park and I've seen people like on their phones and they're weaving into the bike lanes, right? So if I had kids, I wouldn't want them on the bike lanes either.
Yeah. Anyways, we went even longer than last week, Don. Our goal was 20 minutes.
All right,
so
okay.
Is there anything else on our list?
No, that is it for this week. We can only cover about 3 topics, within the time frame. And what we look at is basically what's trending out there, what are people talking about, and what's going on. So next week, next Tuesday, it's going to be 8 o'clock with Michael Charbon and Mayor Patrick Brown. If you got any questions for them, you can always email me and I'll pass the questions along to the mayor, or you can tune in at 8 o'clock and you can send the messages like you did now.
And the questions, by the way, we don't give the questions to the mayor beforehand, so he's not going to come with a scripted answer. And he's been doing a pretty good job, I think, of answering the questions. And some of the questions are rather direct, and he has no problem with it. So
yeah, and keep them short too, eh?
Yeah, because we do like to put it on the screen, and we get essays sometimes. It's like, we'd like to put it on, but we can't put that on the screen. We don't have 5 minutes for everybody on the broadcast to read what you're saying. So keep it really concise.
Yeah, short, concise is always the best. So anyway, we will see you the following week on Tuesday. Probably going to be the same thing, 6:30, and a couple more. And then the last one with the mayor is going to be on December the 14th, which is a Tuesday. And that'll be it for the year until the new year.
All right. See you next week, everybody.
All right. Thank you for listening and joining in. See you next week.